上一周我们分享了莎士比亚羞辱人的用词，今天呢，让我们来到美国的30年代，来听听当时最时尚的用词。Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管与沟通力的 Podcast。I'm Sherry, an educator, certified coach, and style enthusiast. 我相信专业有效的沟通是语言跟逻辑的完美结合。
And I'm Nick, a startup consultant, corporate trainer, and late-night gaming junkie. I believe great communication requires the right mindset and solid frameworks.
我们希望带给大家职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。
Join us each week as we share our experience, research, and methodologies to take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Executive Plus podcast. Last week, we talked about Shakespearean insults, many of which you can still use today. I had found another article that has a very similar theme, which is 1930s in America slang. And looking through the list of fun slang terms, I actually found a lot of these are still relevant today.
So these are quite interesting. And to be honest, when I looked at the list of it, I was like, I don't know any of these. But if I look closely, I'll be like, hey, no, I heard this, I heard that. 所以今天的 Nick 跟我就挑选了6个现在大家还会用的 slang.
The first term that I pulled out is the term a bazillion. Now, bazillion is a large number that sounds so big, like billion, zillion, million, that it's just like a number so big that you don't have a name for it. This is a term that you will hear like children use, be like, I want to have like a bazillion lollipops. Movies will use it to like, oh, that guy is so rich, he's got like $1 bazillion. So it's just a really fun word because it rolls off of the tongue, but everyone gets a sense of what it means. Like such a big number or so much that you can't count it.
Is it similar to like bajillion, like these kind of made up words?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Like a million, bajillion, bazillion.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's just a term. Now, what's kind of fun about this is that we actually have a specific word for the largest number that we can write down that there's actually a term for, and that's a googolplex. And a googolplex is 10 raised to the 10 raised to the 100. So I don't even try to think about
how many zeros.
Well, that's a lot of zeros. But this is fun because the company name Google is actually derived from this, because their idea was there's going to be so much data that they're processing by connecting all of these web pages on the internet that they're going to have a googolplex of data. So Google.
Wow, very smart, Google. Now the next one would be 86. This one, Nick, would you like to explain?
86 is a term that has evolved over time. And it's something you'll hear today, but probably most likely from my parents' or grandparents' generation. But it actually means to cut something out. So originally this term was a way to describe items on a menu that have been sold out, so we don't have them. But over time, it has evolved to mean like you don't want it anymore. So you'll hear this in movies, you'll hear this in TV shows where someone will be like, oh, 86 the onions, which actually means like remove the onions from my hamburger or from my order. Now we'll even use that in a corporate setting, be like, oh, I really like your plan, but that third thing, 86 it.
All right, so let's get to the third one, cockamamie.
Now, cockamamie is another term like bazillion that it just kind of rolls off the tongue and it feels fun. So as soon as you say that term, someone knows it means a bit of nonsense. And we actually use the term cockamamie to mean a person or a thing that is just ridiculously crazy or wild. You'd just be like, that is a completely cockamamie idea, which means like that's a crazy idea that just will never work.
I loved it how it was coined back in 1931, and it was about children's slang terms that refer to decal applied to skin, kind of like a temporary tattoo.
Right. So the idea of, like someone tattooing up their body, especially as a young child, you'd be like, oh, that's a eccentric person. Or we think of someone who has like full body tats to usually be a little bit more eccentric or more out there, a little bit more wild. That's the stereotype associated with this. So it's the same idea that just over time, we have expanded this to just mean something is just really ridiculous. Like that's just such a cockamamie plan.
I love that. So the next one, seat of the pants.
Seat of the pants actually comes specifically from the idea of flying blind, which means like you don't have the instrumentation or something has broken down on a plane and you're just using your own intuition to fly. So this actually comes, the full phrase is flying by the seat of the pants. And it actually had a very specific meaning, which is in the 1930s or earlier, pilots whose instrumentation wasn't working or something happened, they would actually use the pressure of either their pants or their parachute and actually to know whether they're flying the right side up or upside down, especially at night, they needed to get a sense of feeling where they were. So now we've translated this out to mean like if someone is just improvising or they're just using their own intuition to do something. So let's say someone is up giving a presentation and be like, did they prepare for this?
Yeah,
and be like, nope, they're up there flying by the seat of their pants, right? They're just rolling with it and hoping it comes out safely.
I mean, nowadays, a lot of people would just say winging it, right? I'm just going to wing it. I don't know what to do. 我还没有准备. I'm just going to wing it.
Yeah, like I'll figure it out when I get up there. So either I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants or I'm just going to wing it.
The next one I kind of like because it's like back in trend again, unsus.
Now, if you know anyone who is Gen Z or hang around that, you'll hear the term sus, especially a lot on the internet, to mean something is suspicious. Now, if you want to give a poke at the younger generations or Gen Z, this is not something they came up with. In fact, this was a very popular term in the 1930s, although they used the term on sus, meaning that someone is acting on a suspicious term or on a suspicious way, specifically like, oh, you think that person is stealing or they're doing some questionable activities, let's say money laundering, etc. Now, the younger generation uses it in a very similar way, which means something is not quite right. It is very suspicious, so they will say it is sus. But this term actually originates back in the 1930s.
Now, the next and the last one would be gobsmacked.
Gobsmacked gets used to mean someone is so shocked or so flabbergasted that they become speechless. So gobsmacked, the idea of, in many terms, is the idea a gob is actually your mouth, the place that you gobble food. We actually talk about the sound that turkeys make as gobble, gobble, because again, the way that their mouth moves or their throat. Gobsmacked, smack actually being like hit, but in this case, gobsmacked is your mouth falls open and you cover it with your hand because you're so shocked.
I mean, gotta ask though, for all the listeners, 我们如果现在用这个 I'm so gobsmacked, 会不会听起来很奇怪?
It's a little bit weird to see it spoken, but you'll often see this written. Like, I was totally gobsmacked. Written out, people are quite used to it. But if you wander around the streets and be like, oh, I was so gobsmacked. Sounds very like pretentious British slang, at least in an American's head.
Right.
But you do see it written out quite often. Well, we hope you enjoyed this jump back into 1930s slang terms, many of which are either coming back in trend or have never left. But go through the list. We'll, of course, have the link to our choices plus the full list in the show notes. Dig through there. You may find some gems that are worth using in your everyday life. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Executive Plus podcast is a Presentality Group production, produced and hosted by Sherry Fang and Nick Howard. You can search us on Facebook, 主管英文 Executive Plus. You can also find us on Instagram, Communication R&D, and email us at sherry@epstyleplus.com.